give you a lot of respect for that, because some people in the world today, and again, I've been in sales for 25 years now, built a financial services company. And
Wow.
and I look at so many people, they struggle in life because they're not willing to put themselves out there. I mean, you give your personal email, you're like, hey man, let's talk, let's have a conversation, let's get to know
Yeah.
each other, let me get on a podcast, man, let's talk to people, let's meet new people. And I just think that it's so important that people recognize what they're seeing. Because if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you're watching this guy. He's got incredible amounts of energy. And, I think it's important that you recognize that, you watch that, and you learn from that. Because a lot of you that are watching right now or listening, you're in sales, you're small business entrepreneurs around the world, and you're thinking to yourself, how do I become successful in this marketplace? And you got to be a little bit more like Shaahin, because this guy, he knows what he's doing. You're witnessing the power of influence right before your eyes or right before your ears. And so I love it, man. I'm kind of curious though, were you a bad kid or a good kid? Did you go to college? Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Great question. So ABC, by the way, always be closing. And it's sales is a lost fucking art, man. It's just like dating. When you see like young men and they don't know how to walk up to women because they're scared, because all they're doing is swiping and swiping and swiping. I feel like sales similarly is lost. I hire tons of vendors for my companies. We have one of the leading podcast companies called Podcast Cola, where we book people on great shows just like this one. So anyone's interested, check out Podcast Cola. And I'm interviewing vendors for different SaaS software and stuff like this. And I can't tell you how many times I get somebody on the phone and they'll like tell me all the great things about them and then not ask for the sale. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, you've spent maybe $500 to get me on the phone. You've got a lead. You got a warm lead on the phone. You got a guy that's interested and receptive to what you're selling. I have not said yes. I have not said no. I'm just listening to your pitch, and you hang up. You tell me if you're interested to call you. It is lost. Always be selling. Always be. Because I have a friend who just did an event and he like put in the thing, oh, don't worry, no one's going to be selling you anything. And I wrote him back. I said, that's fucking bullshit. Let's sell some shit. I'm not coming. If you're not going to sell me anything, don't sell me, because you don't have confidence in what you're selling. You're doing them a service. I believe full-heartedly there's somebody listening to this show right now that's like, fuck, man, I got to get some recurring revenue streams. I'm going out there every day, busting my ass, selling my fucking hours, and I can't keep doing this. It's not sustainable. I got to find a way to do what Shaahin's doing, where he travels with his family. He's on the beach in Cancun and Cabo, wherever, and somebody's buying his shit on Amazon. So I'm doing a fucking service by offering you my course. And I'm giving it to you for free because it's you. And I love your energy, man, because I think, you are cut from that same cloth, right? We both come from a place of grit. But ultimately, I don't know any successful people who don't have the skill of influence and who don't have the skill of sales and aren't afraid to go out there and offer whatever it is that they're offering, because it's fucking awesome. Like, our podcast agency is fucking awesome. I know that if you're a real estate broker, a financial services person, a doctor, a lawyer, anybody that could use more clients for your products or your service, you need to be on podcasts like this one. And there's no better way to do it than our startup, which in a year, 2 years, is going to be $100 million startup. We're either going to take it public or sell it, but it's going to be one of the biggest podcast agencies in the world. So check that out, Podcast Cola. But I lost track of your question.
No, you're so right on, man. And I lost track of my question too, but
sorry.
It was good. It was good. No, I'll get back to the question, but I want to just elaborate, because you're right on. Because I was just talking, because I do a Wealth on the Beach club, and it's a coaching program we do every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And check out wealthonthebeach.com for all the information. But I was just telling them that that's why they need a brand. What's interesting is that a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people might know this, but you've heard of Elena Cardone, right?
Right, sure.
Grant and Elena Cardone. Yeah. And so Elena Cardone, she started in the real estate business.
Yeah.
6 months ago, maybe a year, she's got 600 licensed agents in her agency in like a year, maybe less than that. Okay. And I was telling these guys, I said, why did that happen?
Yeah.
It's because Grant had 2 million followers on his social media, maybe more by now. But millions of followers, millions of eyeballs will equal brand recognition and of course sales. And so you're so right on. I mean, look, if you ain't selling yourself, if you ain't selling your product, I mean, what are you doing? I mean, you're building relationships with the world because you're trying to help them get more of what they don't know how to get on their own. And that everybody wants wealth on the beach. Everybody wants to live with more freedom and choices and options, but most just aren't willing to do what's necessary. And my question really was about, like, were you a good kid growing up? I mean, did you go to college? How did you get so freaking smart, bro?
No, that's I appreciate that. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. So we come to this country, barely speak English. King of the heap in Iran, but I go to school here. I'm getting my ass kicked every day. So I'm very quickly learned that I need to come up through the ranks. And again, remember, my family was poor. We grew up in a up and coming affluent area. So I was around a lot of rich kids. They didn't want anything to do with me. I was not the cool kid. I did not speak English. I was fucking nerd. And more so than that, I just didn't fit in. So what I did very quickly was I started gathering all the other kids, and I write about it in my book. Yes, it's not PC now, but back then we called ourselves the retards because that's what they used to call us. It was acceptable in the 80s. And we started a little criminal enterprise. I had a little Greek kid who was super cute. He looked like he was 8 when he was like really 13 or 12. And he would sneak into the liquor stores and he'd wear baggy clothes and he'd fill it with like those little bottles, the hotel bottles of liquor and glue and gum and cigarettes. And we would sell it at school. And what I learned was this: I was very good at making money, like natural at making money, but really fucking bad at crime. I mean, I was the worst at crime. We would constantly get caught. And I remember, I mean, my personal seat was in the freaking principal's office in detention. Like I had a seat with my nameplate on it pretty much. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I'm really good at this making money thing, but this crime thing, I'm really fucking bad. So I should not be doing crime. And I remember looking to my cohorts at that time, thinking to myself, man, I really should not be. We should not be doing. We are not suited for crime. It does not suit us because we always fucking get caught. And so fast forward to my rave days, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, ecstasy. These guys are making tons of. Look at these drug dealers, man. They've got, they've got the beautiful girls and the fancy cars and they're spending money and everybody's their friend. And it's easy and it's quick. I should do that. And then I looked back and I was like, fuck, man. I'm really bad at crime. I should not get involved in crime. And that's when the idea hit me. What if I could make a legal version of ecstasy that was legal, that was all natural, that I could put out there in the world? And I did. And we sold over $1 billion of that stuff. And it all started with sales. I had to go out there to the clubs and convince people that were selling illicit drugs to carry my natural herbal supplement through these clubs and raves. And then it went to sell. I mean, and in the meanwhile, I was selling person to person. I had a whole pitch. I would walk up to people, person to person, eyeball to eyeball, selling my stuff.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.